Welcome back to the Den of Tools. Howdy ho, guys and gals, it's Red, your friendly neighborhood tool bear, back again here in the Den of Tools. And today we're going to step kind of outside that tool box, if you will. I asked you guys about it, and a lot of you said, yeah, we want to hear your input on some more of the Black Friday sales. So we're going to cover them a bit more. You know, I'm not just a tool bear, I'm kind of a deals hound, if you will. So let's take a look at it and see what you can find over at Best Buy. All right, here's our Black Friday Doorbuster deals from Best Buy. Now remember, doors open at 5 p.m. on Thanksgiving. I'm not a fan of it. You know what I've said about before. Also, the doors open at 5, but they give out tickets at 4. You need a ticket to get in line at 5. They give out the tickets to avoid people standing in line, so now you have a line for tickets. Yeah, it doesn't make any more sense to me than it does to you. Anyway, so let me just tell you a quick story. The bear here, I've only ever stood in line for Black Friday once, and it was about 6 years ago. We needed a new television, and I had my eyes set on the big deal from Walmart that day. They were giving away for $1,000. You could buy a 70-inch HD television from Vizio, and oh my gosh, that thing was amazing. We love that TV. And now we've since replaced it. We have a 65-inch 4K from Samsung, and it's fantastic. It's sad to say that it actually feels small compared to what we had before, but you do notice the step down. And what do we got above us? We got a 70-inch Samsung, not a Vizio, Samsung, for $549. Are you kidding me? That's insane. So let's see if I can highlight it here. So what we got is the Samsung 70-inch class LED 6 series 2160p. That's 4K, 4K-ish. Depends on how you want to argue about 4K. Smart 4K UHD TV. That's Ultra HD with HDR. That's I can't remember the acronym, but it means it's got a better color palette. The more vibrant colors, I should say. I gotta tell you, I love the Samsung stuff. They make some of the best stuff you can buy. Now, granted, I know someone's gonna howl about this in the comments. Yes, the stuff they sell on Black Friday is often a step down. They've kind of cheapened it here and there to get it down to these doorbuster prices. But when it comes to Samsung, even their cheap stuff is as good or better than most other companies' good stuff. So I'd feel confident in buying that. I love Samsung. The got kind of a gadget crush on them. So in here we have a 75-inch 4K. 75-inch 4K. We're living in the future, guys and gals. We're living in the future. 4K flat screen, $750. And if you don't want something that big, or your pocketbook isn't that big, I don't blame you. That's a lot of cash still. A 58-inch Insignia for $200. Oh my gosh. $200. $200 for a 58-inch 4K television. Oh, with HDR and Fire TV built in, and you get a free Echo Dot with it. I don't think you get the Echo Dot with the other stuff. No, just the $200 TV. Oh my gosh, that is ridiculous at that price. I gotta tell you, I did something. I've been kind of spoiled in my professional career, where I've always had a 3-monitor LCD set. Well, not always, but for many, many years, had a 3-monitor LCD setup, and it's hard for me to go back down to one screen or something like that. And as I got older, my eyes got more tired and stuff. I needed a bigger screen. What I did last Black Friday, I didn't go on actual Friday. I think I went on Saturday, and I scooped up a Samsung 50-inch television for, I think it was $250. And that's what I use as my main monitor. And it's fantastic. And if you've never used a large screen 4K, now you have to have 4K if you want to be able to read text easily. You could make do with HD, but you're going to be, quote unquote, making do. At 4K, it's fine. You can read everything. The detail is astounding. Now, the refresh rate is going to be an issue when it comes to watching action, high-paced videos and or playing video games. I do both on mine, and I don't have a problem with it. I am not a video snob. I am a good enough kind of person, as I am with many things. And for my eyeballs, this thing is more than good enough. And it's you need to spoil yourself. If you find one of these deals, you need to spoil yourself and get yourself a big screen monitor. We'll see. 58 is probably a little big for most people. It'd probably be a little bit big for me. And don't remember, comment section's family friendly. Let's keep it family friendly. Moving on with our Doorbuster deals, save $400 to $500 on Samsung Galaxy Note 10 phones. Now the Note is their business class phone. It's got a faster processor, more memory. It's a more robust phone rather than your typical Galaxy. Honestly, it's going to be overkill for most people. I find if you want to be really thrifty, find a Note that is like 3 or 4 generations older. And honestly, it's usually as good, as fast as the current regular Galaxy model. And you can get it for like half the price. And let's see what we got here. We got the Chromebook, 2 gig memory, $89. These things are, this is what I use for the Cubs. Chromebooks. In fact, the missus use one too. I have one. I don't use it nearly as much as I used to. And mine has a 14-inch screen. But the nice thing about these is they're online only. So you have to be connected to Wi-Fi or something like that. Everything lives in the cloud. It's just basically using your web browser and web-based apps. But so much of what you do is based in the web. With Google now, they have Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Slides, everything you've ever seen in Microsoft Office, there's a Google equivalent for. And so much of what we do, I'm guessing 90% of what you do, other than playing video games, is done online through a web browser. And that's what these things are great for. They're kind of like a tablet in that you open it up and they're almost instantly on, and the battery life in them lasts like all day. Like literally like 8 to 10 to 12 hours all day kind of stuff. So, and at $89, if they disappear or walk off, you're not going to lose your mind about it. Here's the best part for those of you with Cubs. You can't get a virus on the damn thing. So excuse my French there. All right, just to be clear, this ad is huge, and I'm not going to have time to go through all of them. So I'm just going to highlight some stuff. I may also just screen grab some stuff and quickly scroll through it. So sit back and let's jump through some of this stuff real quick. So they're going to have some Dyson Vacuums on sale, save $200, big whoop. And Dell-inspired laptop for $350. Now what is that? It's Core i5, 8 gig. That's decent. It doesn't seem like a screaming deal to me. We got a Core i3 for $279. If I'm going to get a Core i3, I might as well just get a Chromebook. The Core i5 is something you could do some gaming and stuff on as well. We got a Canon EOS Rebel T7i for $700. That's a decent camera. Fire Stick for $20. Some JLab audio buds for $30. And Amazon Echo Show for $50. That's kind of a nifty little device there. Maybe something good for the kitchen. And we're back with TVs. We've got an LG 55-inch for $300. 4K again. We got a Samsung 65 for $479. A Samsung 50-inch for $279. Here you go. This is where we're starting to talk about it. This one and the one next to it. The 43-inch. Now, as I said, I have a 50-inch, and I like it, but I'm used to using the big screen at this point. We've been doing it for some time. For those of you, it honestly may seem overwhelming to go to a screen that big, and you have to have a desk deep enough to sit far enough away from it. But for those of you who are like, I don't want to go quite that big yet, the Samsung 43-inch class LED 6 series 21, again, same resolution, same UHD with HDR. This would be a decent desktop monitor kind of thing. Now, I don't know exactly what the refresh rate is. I don't know if this is going to qualify for gaming. You guys can check on it, look it up, and see if this is what you want. But again, for just average desktop use, this would be fantastic. We got the Lenovo Ideapad laptop AMD series. AMD just an alternative to Intel. It's 6 to 1/2 of the dozen of the other in most cases. $130 there. It's a 14-inch. That's a decent size, especially for you with the sore eyes. Here we got another Microsoft Xbox One S for $150. That's a nice price there. Unlocked Google Pixel 3a phone for $100 off activation. Save $50 more. This is one of the best phones you could ever buy. It's fantastic, but the price on it, I'm not a big fan of buying flagship phones. They're just stupidly expensive. Okay, and over here we've got an Amazon Fire 7-inch tablet for $30. Now, here's what I'm going to say. Unless you are looking for unless you're willing to get locked into the Amazon ecosystem, don't get this tablet. They're super cheap, but they're super cheap because they are locked in with Amazon. In fact, you can't even use, in most cases, the Google Store on this or the Android Store, and you have to go through Amazon's. And quite often, a lot of the apps that you want to use just won't work on it. If you're looking for a Kindle reading device or something for the kids to watch YouTube videos or something on, or to use in the car, $30. We've got 3 of them. We bought the oversized molded rubber bumper thing so they could drop it from 5 stories up and it would bounce. And that's what we use for long road trips. Because it doesn't have access to the regular Android store, also it makes it harder for them to screw it up as well, I'll be honest. And at $30, if it gets trashed in the car, we're not nearly as worried about it if they trash like an iPad or something. And here's the bigger brother there, the Fire HD version. It's faster, it's got more guts, it's a bigger screen, and you're paying $50. Again, it's great if that's what you're looking for. I couldn't even tell you about inkjet printers anymore. I've switched entirely to laser. I won't mess with cartridges anymore, or the ink and whatnot. $30. I mean, they're all disposable as far as I'm concerned these days. When it runs out of ink, just buy a new printer. And the easiest external hard drive, I don't know any details on that. I'm not going to get into it. Here we got the Insignia, their version of an Insta Pot for $30. My wife loves the Insta Pot. My guess is these things are 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Air fryer, if you need to air fry your food. The Beats noise canceling headphones. Here's what noise canceling headphones I don't think are really useful that much for the average person, because they only block out monotonous noise that's repetitive. Stuff like on an airplane when you hear you don't even think about the noise from the engines that is just drumming through the whole plane. You never notice it until you put these on and they kick in, and then you're like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. If you fly a bunch, get a pair of these. If you ride trains and you commute a bunch, get a pair of these. You're in the back of a car and carpooling all the time, get a pair of these. If you think it's going to block out noise around the office or around school or something like that, it's really not. The way the technology works is it has to hear the noise, then it flips the noise in reverse and blocks that noise. But if that noise doesn't happen again, it really can't block it the first time. It has to hear it the first time before it knows to block it the next time. So it muffles like any over-the-ear headphone will, but it really only blocks monotonous noise. Stuff that's repeating, that's consistent. So anyway, let's move on. Here we've got a Ring bundle for the Echo Show for $179. That's almost the price of the Ring itself. I'm a big fan of the Ring. I'm a big fan of security. I want to get, I'm a bunker bear. I want to get all bunkered up, close the doors, black out the windows, and have my cameras and see what's going on outside. That was one of the things that I hated about living in an RV. We lived in an RV for 6 months while we were transitioning between California and Nevada, trying to figure out where we're going to get a house. And I hated being in this little tin can and not knowing what was going on around me. And I wish they had something like this for RVs. You could put one camera in each corner. I could sit inside of the tablet and see what's going on. Anyway, next to that, we got the Echo Dot for $22.99. These things are fabulous. One of the things that, if you've got a family and a decent sized house, that a lot of people don't talk about is you can use these as an intercom. If you're an older bear like me and you remember back in the 60s and the 70s when houses had those built-in intercoms, and you could go up to the wall in the kitchen and press the button and you could yell for the kids and stuff, you can do that now. And what you do is you label each one the name of a room, and then when you're in that room, you say, hey, she whose name must not be spoken, drop in on, and you name the room, and then the light turns green, and now you're speaking directly to that room and they can speak back to you. You can block it if you don't want people doing that to your bedroom or something like that. The other thing you can do is you can announce to the whole house. Just basically shout through the whole house, hey, brats, get down here. It's time for dinner. And it's great. And I keep one in the garage. We have one in every bedroom. We have one in the kitchen, and we have one in the family room. And actually, I think in the family room, we don't use the dot. We use the main one in the family room because it also has a nice speaker for sound and stuff. And in the garage, I have the older version, so I don't know if this one has it, but my older version has an audio out that I run into a boombox, so I get really good sound in the shop, and I can hear it over tools and stuff like that. The Fire TV, I talked about this before. I'm a big fan of Fire TV. If you have Amazon Prime, you get essentially their free version of Netflix built in. So save yourself, what is it now, $200 a month, whatever Netflix has raised it to. Just, it's good enough. I mean, it's programming at some point. Yeah, you may not get this or you may get that. If you want to watch Stranger Things or something else, wait for there to, do the free trial on Netflix for 30 days and then binge watch your show to death and then cancel your subscription. And then, 6 months, a year later, when another show is done, you can do the same thing. Arlo. Remember I said I love about cameras? Not a fan of the Arlo. They're stupidly expensive. $400. And that price has come down because it used to be more than that. But they take batteries. And if you have to have a camera someplace where you can't get electricity, that I understand. But can you imagine having to go out every so often and change the batteries in your cameras? It's really annoying. And also, they basically trying to tie you into the system that makes you pay a subscription monthly fee to actually be able to see your stuff. And I really, really am adamantly against that. I think it's ridiculous to get stuck into a subscription plan. Here we go. Hisense 65-inch, $300 television. Oh my gosh, this is insane. A 4K 65-inch TV for $300. Now, I'll be honest. We have a Hisense television at our place in Montana because we just want to pick up something cheap from when we're up there over the summer. We didn't care really about the quality because the only time we're going to be using it is on the colder evenings or when it's raining, sitting inside huddled with the family and watching movies together. That was the only time we're going to be using it. Try not to use it that much. We didn't want to get a really nice TV that would get people into using it. And the first one we got was DOA. It was dead on arrival, and it was hilarious because we went to return it, and we called the factory first and told them what had happened. They said, well, you have to ship it back and we'll send you a thing. I'm like, I'm not shipping this thing back. And I'm like, because it was within 30 days. So we just took it back to Walmart and returned it. And and that was it. We didn't even get a replacement. We just took it back to Walmart because we were headed back to Montana or back to Nevada shortly. So we said, forget it. We dropped it off and headed back to Montana. Halfway through the winter, our neighbors call and say, hey, UPS just dropped off a huge package. It looks like a television. We're like, that's really weird. Can you hold on to it for us? So we get back there this summer. It's the replacement TV. They sent us a free one. So I don't know if they meant to or what, but talk about some customer service, free television. And this one works. This one works just fine. And I would say the picture's not as good as my Samsung's. It's not as good as the Vizio I had. But $300. Oh my gosh. And a $200, what do we got? A laptop. It's an AMD 9 series, 4 gig, Radeon R5. Oh my gosh, $200. We're living in the future. This is just ridiculous. All right, let's talk soundbars. Here we got Vizio, LG, and some Samsung. The Vizio for $100. You get a 2.1 channel. Basically, you get the soundbar that's left and right, plus the center channel is 2.1, and with wireless subwoofer and in black or in silver, it's $100. I gotta tell you, so the sound built into most TVs is pretty pathetic. That Hisense, I will tell you, is painful to listen to. The Samsung's not so bad, all right? They're not nearly as bad as other ones. But when we got our first TV, back in the day, when I was a young man, I'd gotten into surround sound when it was first becoming a real thing. And I can still remember plugging in my Sega Genesis and having the sound accidentally cranked to 11 when I first turned it on, and hearing that old classic, Sega, just resonating, running around the room like it's Sonic himself. And oh my gosh, it was insane. And I got hooked on surround sound ever since then. But then as I get older and you get more interested in more important things in life, trying to set up and run wires and do all that stuff just isn't as important to you anymore. Enter soundbars. Soundbars can, and some of the higher end ones, emulate surround sound. In fact, I've got one, all right. In fact, they make ones where the rear channel speakers are actually connected to the subwoofer so that they're wireless, or other ones that are wireless. There's all sorts of different ways they do it, so you don't have to run speaker wire everywhere. But I had one where it actually had a microphone it plugs into the main soundbar, and it strings over to where you sit down, and then you go through a test pattern, and it learns the acoustics of the room, changes the way it plays, and emulates surround sound, and actually does a fairly good job of it. I'm not saying any of these will do it. You're going to have to look into that, but at the very least, you'll get decent sound out of it. For $100, if you're getting like the Hisense or something like that, and you want some decent sound, you may want to go with something like that. Everything from there on up is going to be that much better. It all depends on your level of sound need and appreciation. We got Polk and Sony and LG and Samsung here. The soundbars are something, if you really want good sound and you're going to be watching like a lot of movies and stuff like that or playing games, something you want to get. Or I would say if you're going to do games, though, you might want to consider getting some headphones. Okay, now there's literally 120 pages in this. So it's not just the flyer they dropped. They also work with some of these online sites, giving out more information. And quite often, to be honest, most of it is repeat at a certain point where they're just talking about the same stuff over and over again. So I'm only going to really highlight the Doorbusters. But I also wanted to talk about this one item here right above me. The Chamberlain MyQ Smart Garage Hub for $30. Now this thing is pretty cool. What it does is it taps into the electronics on your remote control garage door opener, and rather than having to buy another remote control or something like that, it then allows you to go to pipe it through the Wi-Fi in your house, out through the internet, and to your cell phone. They're incredibly secure, as secure as anything else that's on Wi-Fi can be. But to be honest, that's just as secure as anything else when it comes to wireless garage doors. In fact, opening a garage door, even without that, is fairly easy. I've had to do it. You can go on YouTube and see how easy it is. It might scare you. So, the fact is, don't freak out. I don't want to see comments about, oh, someone's going to hack and break into your house. It's way easier for them to just break a window. They don't need to go through the trouble of hacking your garage door through your Wi-Fi. So, and they have to know that you have it. Anyway, point is, they're incredibly convenient. The range on them is essentially unlimited because it then goes through the cell phone service, through the internet, to the Wi-Fi in your house, to the garage door. And I've used them many a time. In fact, I even had a situation where the missus locked herself out of the house and called me at work, and I was able to open the garage door from there. That really saved the day. So anyway, just something to look forward to. Well, there you go. There's your hot deals over at Best Buy. Let me know down below what you think you're looking for, or what else you might want to see at other stores, or what other stores you might want the bear to cover. That said, I want to say a big shout out to everyone who's been picking up some of the merch. You know, it's getting chilly out there. Time to grab yourself one of the Redbeard Dental Tools approved sweatshirts. They're looking pretty snazzy there. Also want to say thank you so much to everyone who's decided to become a member, an official member of the Dental Tools, my brother and sister bears who help support the channel. For those of you who don't know what it is, it's kind of like Patreon, except it's built into YouTube, so no going to another site or anything like that. God love you all. You guys are great. Thank you again for supporting the channel. Me and the missus and the Cubs, we appreciate each and every one of you. And also, speaking of them, don't forget to join us every Sunday for Tool Talk Live. We talk tools, tech, family, business, so much more. Oh, so much more. Anyway, we hope to see you that Sunday at 6 p.m. Pacific. Anyway, that's all the bear has for you today. You take care, God bless, and as always, come on, say it with me, shine on.